Now, he's not a comedian, he's not a journalist, he's not even a professional athlete, and yet he's more influential than most in all three industries. Now, Dave Portnoy, he started out, handing out betting newspapers on a Boston subway. Well, he turned that into a $600 million empire. But behind the memes and pizza reviews, well, there's a story most people haven't heard. One filled with FBI investigations, corporate buyouts, a little bit of sexual misconduct allegations. There were lawsuits, there was a hostile media takeover, and a fan base that follows him like a movement. This is the story of Dave Portnoy, who he really is, and what he's built, and how he somehow survived every cancellation attempt thrown his way. The guy keeps us entertained day in, day out, and he's just getting started. So here we are, documenting his come up on Before They're Famous. Chapter 1, The Beginning. Dave Portnoy was born on March 22nd, 1977 in Swampscott, Massachusetts. Now we're talking a middle-class suburb just north of Boston. Now he wasn't a standout kid, he didn't win state championship, he didn't have a trust fund, but he always had two things: confidence and an opinion. Now he graduated from the University of Michigan in 1999 with a degree in education, and instead of becoming a teacher, he went into IT sales, but the guy absolutely hated it. In 2003, he was finished. He wanted to work for himself on something he actually cared about: gambling, sports, and media. So he launched a free gambling newspaper called Barstool Sports, and he printed it from home and handed it out by hand. Now it was gritty, it was blunt, and it was a little bit ridiculous, right? I mean, you had a good job, $100K, why are you on the streets? But hey, the story's just getting started. Now, even back then, Dave, he had a voice. And that voice, well, it was definitely one that was willing to stand up for what he believed in. Chapter 2, The Blog Era. Now at first Barstool, it was Boston local, fantasy picks, betting advice, Patriots talk, and a feature that ranked smoke shows, attractive women, which were mostly submitted by readers. I think Jenna Marbles was working with him in the early days. Probably was one of those girls, then she got on YouTube. Yeah, that's a whole other side story. Let us know if you want us to tell that one in the comments down below. Now Barstool was part sports site, part frat house, bulletin board, but in 2007, Dave, he made the shift online, and this is when things exploded. Suddenly, instead of a few thousand papers, well, Barstool, it had a blog, and a blog, well, it could reach absolutely anyone. Now, Portnoy, he began posting multiple times a day, writing about everything from sports to pop culture to absolute nonsense. Now, he didn't care about political correctness. In fact, he leaned into offending people, and the audience, well, they ate it up. The media, however, well, they absolutely hated it. He brought on other bloggers like Dan, Big Cat Cats, and Kevin Clancy, and he expanded to New York, Philly, and Chicago. Now Barstool, it became a full-on movement, and it wasn't polished, it wasn't polite, but it was loud, funny, and it felt honest. Chapter 3, The Rise to Infamy. As the 2010s rolled on, well, Portnoy, he transformed from blogger to a brand. Now he built the El Presidente persona, a brash, take-no-prisoners leader who made himself the face of Barstool. But the guy wasn't some actor, some corporate CEO. The guy was just being himself. No acting involved. Now Portnoy, he lived the brand. Every pizza review, every emergency press conference, every feud with ESPN or the New York Times, and fans, they ate it up. Then came everyone's favorite, the pizza review. One bite, everyone knows the rules. I've been having a few more than one bite, you know what I mean? But still, I use it now as a compass. What started out as a bit turned into a billion-view viral series. Now suddenly Portnoy, he wasn't just known by Barstool fans, he was known by foodies, TikTokers, business leaders, and every pizza cook the world over. Now he was interviewing mayors, dining with athletes, getting kicked out of pizza shops, and it was constant chaos that worked. Plus, who the hell can't relate to enjoying a good slice, right? Chapter 4, Business Deals and Billion. By 2016, Barstool had gone national, and Dave, he was done bootstrapping. He sold a majority stake to the Sherman Group, allowing the company to scale its podcasts, its merchandise, and its events. But the real game changer, it came in 2020. Penn National Gaming, a massive gambling company, well, they bought 36% of Barstool for $160 $63 million. The plan? Turn Barstool into the brand new face of sports betting in America. And it worked for a while. Barstool launched sports books, they partnered with casinos, and they helped normalize gambling across the country. But behind the scenes, well, there was a bit of trouble brewing. Chapter 5, The Expose. Now in 2021 and again in 2022, well, Business Insider, they dropped two massive exposés accusing Portnoy of violent and coercive sexual behavior with young women, and the stories, they were detailed, disturbing, and allegedly, well, they were backed by multiple anonymous sources. Now Portnoy, he responded the only way he knows how, head on. He made videos disputing the timelines, reading text messages, and attacking the journalists directly. He's like the Donald Trump of the everyday man. Now the allegations, which he denied, they caused a massive stir. Cancel Barstool, that actually began to trend. Penn stock, they fled. Portnoy sued, but the story stuck, and public opinion had somewhat shifted. Now to some, he became a symbol of cancel culture gone wrong, but to others, a man evading accountability. Now, either way, the controversy, it didn't slow him down a bit, and the man pressed forward. Chapter 6, the $1 buyback. By 2023, the relationship between Penn and Barstool, it had unraveled. Penn, they wanted a cleaner, more regulated brand for gambling, and Barstool was no longer that. So Penn, they sold Barstool back to Dave for just $1. Yeah. He now owned 100% of the company again, but this time, no corporate oversight, no advertisers to please. Portnoy was free and somehow back on top. No undercarriage, guys. We're talking cheese and tomato and pepperoni. Well, that makes sense. Chapter 7, where he stands now. Well, today, Dave Portnoy, he's still doing what he's always done. He's creating content, he's raging against the media, and raiding some pizzas. He's running Barstool the way he sees fit, but he's not just an internet personality anymore. He's a social media or a media empire CEO. He's a podcasting mogul, a gambling distributor, and depending on who you ask, he's either a genius or a danger to the industry. I think he's a man who's right where he needs to be, on the cusp of a revolution. So love him or hate him, well, there's no one like him, and chances are there never will be. Also, his pizza reviews are top notch. Who is not taking what he says as church, am I right? So from a subway in Boston to one of the most talked about media moguls on the entire planet, well, Dave Portnoy built an empire on his own terms. Now, he's been sued, he's been banned, he's been investigated, and he's been exposed, but he's never actually been canceled. Because in his world, controversy isn't a liability, it's actually a strategy, or at least an opportunity in disguise.